And welcome back to the Winmax Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. We now start qualifying round 2. And the first competitor to have a second chance at the hill is Daniel Mayles from Christchurch in the Suzuki Swift GTI. So the competitors in this 0 to 1300cc class get their chance to have a crack at the hill for the second time.
Come on, back to the camera, Blake. Back on position.
And we have Daniel heading up the hill.
Back to Blake.
Well, true, I get a chance to blink, wink or think. And we're into it again.
We are indeed.
Oh. It'll be coffee again soon. At least we've got water.
So Daniel's done autocrosses. He's been a co-driver for 2 Canterbury rallies and a driver of approximately 5 local sprint events. So a relatively newcomer as Daniel gets to the top in 52.80 in the Suzuki Swift GTI. Of course, Suzuki Swifts at one stage had their own circuit class in New Zealand. Another one of those one mate.
I was going to say, like most of them.
Yes. Came and went. And Daniel's crossed the finish line in 1:24.81. 24.81.
So he's improved by 4.5 seconds. So that's. You'd pleased with that, wouldn't you?
Not bad.
I would.
Oh, here comes the Mini. Here comes the Mini.
Speaking of one mark classes, Grant.
Now this is, as we mentioned, part of the Engine Room Sprint Series team that have come down here from the North Island. This is Scott Harland in the Mini Cooper, car 63.
Yes, I think I can. I know I can. The old rhyme, mate, nursery rhyme.
Oh, brilliant. Started life as a road car 9 years ago, built into a competition car, and he's been competing in tarmac events until 2019. Oh, so only this year he's decided to switch it to gravel. Finished first in Class A and third overall in the Engine Room Sprint Series. And this is Scott's 20th event this year, and he's had no DNFs.
That's something to be proud of.
Probably drives it home as well.
I'd say
When he's
do.
finished.
Now, do you know in the old days they used to drive the cars
yes.
home, you know? No trailers or transporters in those days.
No. Round the hairpin goes the Mini in 57.57. 57. There we are. Probably just about built in 57, wasn't it?
I was going to say to you that 57.
78.
Now, that could be if the record. Well, Hayden did a 58, something.
Yeah.
And 57's the top.
That's right. That's right.
Well, that puts it in perspective, doesn't it, a wee bit?
The Mini and the Maxi.
The Mini and the Maxi.
So down the finish line comes the Mini, and he does it in 1:31.81. From Midhurst in Taranaki, Scott Hartland, car
Yeah, good on you,
63.
Scott.
Dream it, live it, and he's doing it right here at Ashley
I was
Forest.
waiting for cheeky fellow commentator here to say he's finished in 1 day and something. There we go.
All right.
Now this is an interesting looking car, isn't it?
Remember when the Citroens used to have the hydromatic suspension?
Oh,
They'd lift
I
up?
do.
I don't know if I haven't noticed the back lift up on this one.
I do.
It's got those cool wheel arches.
Citroen until recent years never made cars that were good lookers,
No,
did they?
no.
They were shockers. Until recent times.
Some people called it French flair.
But at least they got over that stigma. And I think Skoda's getting over and being the laughing stock now too.
Yes, oh indeed.
Although I guess most people around here now wouldn't know what I'm talking about.
No.
But you and I know that
Indeed.
Skoda,
You're,
no. Skodas, goodness me.
From Czechoslovakia.
yes, that's it.
That's right.
Chucky in charge, no?
Sucky nose.
Coffee.
He probably had one. Did he? Yeah, he did. He's nodding his head. Chucky had a Skoda. Never tried a Citroen. No. Here he goes. The Citroen coming up to the hairpin. And he will get there. This is DJ Musk. And
1 hour. No.
104.51 to the top. You're quite right. They're coming down. Those fast guys faster than these guys get up. 1300cc flat 4 air-cooled engine in the Citroen.
The sun's not setting yet. He did a 1:39.88 in the first run, and here he comes. He's in a 1:37.26. So, hey, well done.
Good on you, DJ Musk.
Yeah, you're taking 2 seconds off your time, and that's what
Good
it's
on
all
you.
about.
Yep, indeed. He said the first motorsport event he ever did was with a co-driver with a chap called Stu Thorpe. And within an hour they'd rolled into the brambles and beat the roof out and got back onto it and only missed one run. So there you go.
Yeah.
And the spirit of it all. DJ Musk.
And speaking of the spirit of it all, here's Tony Oakley from Motueka in the Fiat Uno. 1300cc. In fact, he did a really bad time first time around. Did a 1:32.81 first time up. So let's see how he goes this time.
And he says he only races Italian cars. Might have a Ferrari here next year. So it's not only been built by him, it's been painted by him. You can see that. I think he missed a bit of... ran out of paint on one of the guards. Have a look.
With a brush, did you say?
A work of art. Here comes the Fiat Uno. Oh, I see. Yes, he is.
Ah, look at this.
Yes, look, it is.
It is the Italian colours.
Indeed.
The green and white and red Fiat Uno. There it is.
57.20 to the top. That's not bad. Faster than the Citroen.
Right.
Mind you, it's half the size.
I tell you what, it's all very well for us to be here making smart comments, Grant. I wonder how we would go.
Say no more.
So let's put things in perspective.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So,
Hey Grant,
how are you?
nice to see you. You got
So
a
heading down to the finish line, a 1:31.30.
So he's improved his time by just under the second, so that's a good start.
So car number 60 should be the next one to the start line.
really just good.
The guy's doing a great job to keep the ruts raked out so the poor little 1300s don't bury themselves. As Gary Meacham comes to the line, Gary from North Lowburn here in Rangiora in the Toyota Starlet.
What is his occupation now? Has it got what Gary's occupation is? Yeah, he makes. If you want false teeth, he's the man to talk to, is Gary Meacham. He's our false teeth expert here in North Canterbury.
I might about to see him in the lunch break. Gary Meacham in car 60, 59, so his car's number 1 year older than he is. Been racing and rallying for the last 44 years, has Gary. Got back into his club car in 2008. So heading to the hairpin with a time of 53.86. 53.86 to the hairpin.
He has previously finished third in the Winmax breakdown at the Forest Rally Sprint.
So he says his motorsport highlights. The wife's now involved in the rally car with me after 30 years of trying. So there you go. Gary Meacham comes to the finish line and stops the clock in
1:23.53. So he's improved by 2 seconds on his first time.
seems to be about the improvement most are doing, a couple of seconds.
Yeah, a couple of seconds. There was one with 4 seconds back there I saw. Who was that? Never mind, but there was a 4-second improvement there.
As we continue on with the 1300cc class, as Rob McKenzie from Motueka in Nelson rolls the Toyota Corolla up to the start line. Rob's 69 years of age. The last 10 years has been doing gravel, hill climbs and rally sprints. Rob McKenzie of Nelson in the Toyota Corolla in the hotly contested 1300 class.
Yes, for those who've just tuned in, this class is from being the poor man's class to, you know, this is not an event for us in rally sprint because we've only got small cars. The incentive is for these guys now. They've got their own class. They have a run off tomorrow. We have 13 cars in this 300 category this year, which is absolutely magnificent.
13 will be unlucky for 10 who don't make it into the top 3 final. But great to see the interest in the class. Rob gets the Corolla around the hairpin in 58.67. So a couple of seconds improvement for Rob.
I must apologise if there's the background commentary that's interfering here. I don't think it is, but we have the on-course commentators very close at hand, and they speak rather a lot and they speak very loud. So we just hope that you can catch what we are saying.
As Rob McKenzie comes over the finish line at 1:34.34. Another improvement is each of them are doing so far on the second qualifying run.
2.5 seconds there for Rob McKenzie. We've got Reese Turner from Dunedin now, another of the starlets.
So although Reese has done a few rallies, he's a virgin, he says, here to Ashley Forest. 3 attempts at the Catlin Rally, he's finished twice down there. 2 attempts at the Lawrence Rally with 1 finish. Lots of hill climbs and rally sprints, and did 4 or 5 years of circuit racing too in a 1989 Honda Civic. But here he is in the Toyota Starlet, first time at Ashley Forest, and built this car up from a road car in early 2016 and had his first gravel event in May of that year. So Rob Turner heading up to the hairpin. As you can see, just such a glorious day here in North Canterbury for the running of the 33rd Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. Round the hairpin he goes in 51.96. 25-year-old Reese Turner from Dunedin on the downhill run. And let's just see if he stops the clock at
1:22.5.
1:22.5.
Yeah, he's just over a second quicker than what he was last time. So it's 40 years since all this started, folks. We started off in 1979 with the downhill run, which was won by Steve Millen and what then was the Work Chevette. Steve did the national championship in the car, and he entered the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint in the downhill section. And the year after, in 1980, we then came to the loop course that we have now.
So Stuart Jack heads off the start line and get another gentle start for Stuart. Again, these guys, I'm sure, not wanting to put any unnecessary strain on the drive lines at this early stage of the event, qualifying round 2. Number 57, Stuart Jack from Rolleston in the Toyota Starlet. He's been an interested spectator at Ashley Forest until now, so another virgin taking on the hill.
Well, it's as we've discussed, Grant, earlier in the day, that a lot of people do sit there in the armchairs and think, oh, I'd love to do that. And this is what happens, isn't it?
Indeed, yep.
How can I comment? How can I criticise? How can I be a smarty unless I've had a go myself? And that's true.
At the hairpin in 1 minute and 0.22.
1 minute, 0.22 for the hairpin. So that's the second game.
Sponsored by Smith & Jack Chartered Accountants and Oil Changes in Riccarton, Stuart Jack.
And everyone will just about approve unless they make some sort of mistake or have a mechanical issue. You would expect everybody
Did a lot of motorcycle racing in the 1990s, did Stuart? 43 years of age. And he finishes in 1:35.33.
1:35.33 for Stuart Jack. And he's improved by a second and a half.
5:33. I'm just ahead of him at the moment.
So I guess he's got another second in there that he can gather in, but really and truthfully, I don't think it will be enough for the class to get further.
So Jay Ritchie, car 56, is on the start line. Another of these beautifully prepared Toyota Starlets. It's his first full season this year. The 51-year-old Jay Ritchie, and it's his first ever rally car. Bought it 2 years ago.
2016 and third, 2000.
And he finished third in class in the Mainland Series this year. So Jay Ritchie from Christchurch.
That's a bang the old memory banks for that one.
Here comes Jay heading towards the top of the course, the Hella hairpin.
Of course, Mike Tool, I think he won that title when he was driving for the Suzuki Swift engine, so it may not be the same car. This one's powered by Toyota.
And he's 56.85 for Jay Ritchie to the hairpin.
Second quicker. Will it take some time? A whole second and a half seconds is 2 seconds.
Jay comes on the downhill run and he'll stop the clock. It's
1:29.33.
1:29.33.
And he's 2 seconds quicker than he was last time.
Suzuki Swift coming to the start line now for, no, this is the,
No, it's Murray Christopherson and the
Yep.
Suzuki Swift.
yes,
Murray Christopherson is a relative newcomer to rallying in retrospect there. But I've been involved for a long time.
yeah, first rally was 2013.
I worked with Murray at the Norwich Union Insurance a very long time ago.
So he's competed in 6 rallies so far and several local sprint events in the Suzuki Swift. So he's trying to beat a 1:22. What was his time this morning?
1:28.46.
So he'll be looking for,
Good start, Murray. Good start. Oh, that died in second
Yeah,
gear,
yeah.
didn't it?
so he'll be looking for a 6-second improvement over the weekend if his target is a 1:22.
Now we've seen a big Swift engine car with this event, but I don't think we've actually seen the Swift actually win the Supercar Single Raceway North 1300 class.
Supported by the Saddler's Garage. And he's saddled it up and he's riding it to the top. Let's see what he gets to the hairpin in. Murray Christopherson, car 55.
We've already gone under the 1 minute 20 bracket, and Murray wants to get under the 120. Wow, if you
I think his brother's coming for a concert soon, isn't it, Chris?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Let's help him make it through
There we
the weekend.
are. Murray is through at 54.05.
54.05 for the hairpin.
Murray's nickname used to be Noddy, when we worked with him. I don't know why Noddy, but
Okay.
I won't call him Noddy on live air. People might hear it.
Okay.
He might be referred to it for the rest of his life.
Yes, as we know how these things can happen.
Yes.
So Murray comes down to the finish line. Let's see what he stops the clock in this time. Last time he did a 1:28.46.
1:25.18.
20. Oh, okay. Well, he's
He
heading
knocked
towards
off-
his
He knocked off
122.
3 seconds off.
He's heading towards the 122 he hopes to achieve by the end of the weekend. As Tim Smith comes to the line,
Yeah,
of course,
Tim, we had good
had
chat
the pleasure
with Tim
to
before.
chat with Tim earlier. And you heard it here first, folks. He's moving up to the 1600cc class this year. Same car, bigger engine next year. But meanwhile, it's a 1300cc 4K engine in this Toyota Starlet. 22-year-old Tim is the son of Mark Smith, of course, well known in motorsport circles in these here parts.
Oh, very well known for a long, long time, mate. One of those kids who had no choice to do anything else other than motorsport.
Yeah.
It was it's in the veins. It's got to be done, and he's as enthusiastic as anyone.
And he had much pleasure in beating Marty Rostenberg, who came out of retirement this year to do
Yeah,
Otago Rally in his Toyota
Marty
Starlet
Rostenberg.
rebuilt.
Now, here's a previous winner
There we are.
here.
Yes. And Tim beat him at Otago Rally this year
He used to-
by 14 seconds in the class battle.
Marty used to have this claim to fame as being the fastest Maori in the world.
That's
Didn't
right.
he?
He did indeed.
Yeah.
In fact, he's probably tuned in. Marty, give us a call if you are.
Yeah. Marty, we thought that you're probably the fastest Maori in the world too, son.
47.91 to the top. The current mainland rally winning class champion for 0 to 1300cc. Tim comes down to the finish line.
A good time. A 1:16.08 for Tim.
16.08.
So he's improved for 3.5 seconds.
Well, there we are.
Must have been the pep talk you gave him, Grant. Hey. So
Here comes
It's
Pete Murch.
Peter Murch, all the way from Loburn, which is where we are right now, essentially.
Didn't have to come too far to work today for Pete Murch.
Peter Murch in the Suzuki powered Starlet.
So this car was actually built by another one of our competitors, Mike Tall,
Yes, it was. Mike Tools.
around 10 years ago.
So Peter's discarded his Datsun 1200 in favour of the Toyota. And been around for quite a while doing club events primarily.
So sponsored by himself, and so Peter Murch. Peter is
And I think Ray White
Ray White.
Real Estate have got a bit to do with the car as well this year. Ray White Rangiora.
As he takes to the real estate here at Ashley Forest. Up the hill goes Peter Murch, car 53.
And of course we are here by the courtesy of Winmax brake pads and Magnum compliance.
And listen to that big scream up the hill. I think the counting point of this the North 1300 supercar indoor raceway class, this car is probably going to be fast top of the hill.
So
But what happens downhill is also going to be the overall style. Yeah, exactly.
Peter's heading up to the hairpin now.
Pretty well. You know,
The Suzuki powered Toyota Starlet. And 48.73 to the hairpin.
It's a good time.
Just under a second slower than Tim Smith to the hairpin.
just over half a second off Tim Smith's time to the hairpin up there. So it all depends how well he can.
A 1:17.03.
1:17.03 for
Yeah, so just
Peter Beach.
a second, just under a second slower than Tim Smith.
As the last of the 1300 competitors lines up, this is Chris Herdman from Rangiora in his Toyota Starlet. Of course, this car powered by the 4K engine with the TRD close ratio gearbox and the Escort rear end for Chris Herdman. So just remind ourselves what the benchmark is for these guys in the 1300 class. Do we have an overall time? I think around he won in a 13.45 in 2017, so it's the sort of times we'll be looking at, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you would be. Well, I was seeing Tim Smith at 1:13 would be pushing it, wouldn't it? It'd be
Although he
about the
did
time.
say, didn't he, about the amount of gravel.
Yeah,
on the
it'll be
road,
cleared.
so-
It'll be cleared by tomorrow. So we just have to hope there's no rain overnight, and the forecast is okay.
So
48.65 to the top was
So-
Chris Herdman.
half a second slower than, just over 6/10 slower than Tim Smith to the top, but they're all very close. So, and a 1:16.56 for Chris Herdman. So these guys really are putting on a great battle and a great show.
So Chris is the second behind Tim Smith, who was 1:16.08, and Peter Murch 1:17.03. So there's not much between the three of these guys.
So less than a second between three of them. As the first
So
of
it's all on for tomorrow in the class. And to pick a winner here will be very difficult as we move on to our next class. And
1301 to 1600
beautiful
cc.
Datsun 1600. Of Brendan Mitchell all the way from Southland, Winton and Southland.
So the car was built in 1988 by Dave Jenkin and was brought back in 93. It's done over 50 rallies, this car. She's a good old girl.
Actually, I'm just thinking, didn't Timo Salonen win the 1980 Rally of New Zealand, which was started in Nelson and finished in Christchurch, when the Mercedes came out? They all bombed out. The Mercedes bombed out, and Timo Salonen won. Yeah, he did. I'm happy now. I've got that sorted now.
So,
And Penty Auricula rolled the Chevette on the last stages. Oh,
Yep.
Sidetrack,
Yeah, that's right.
sorry.
49.09 to the hairpin there for Brendan Mitchell. So just waiting for Brendan to come down and finish his run now, the first of the 1301 1600cc competitors.
1:17.88.
1:17.88. second competitor in the 1301 to 1600cc class, Jared Glass in the Toyota Corolla FX GT. Sponsored by BTEC Bearing and Engineering Technologies, Calder Alco Motors, and Tyre Power Otago from Mosgiel in Dunedin. Jared Glass, competing in hill climbs and rallies for the last 3 years while building up this car. Never been to Ashley Forest before, so another one of those who's come to try his hand for the first time. Watches Jared Glass gets to the hairpin, safely around the hairpin in 49.56, 49.56 to the hairpin.
A 1:18.94 for Jared Glass, 1:18.94, which is, yeah, that's a 6-second improvement from his first run. So he'll be well pleased with that, I'd imagine. Next we have on the line is Michael Veronese from Christchurch in the Toyota Levin. Oh dear. We have a problem here. He couldn't find second gear, so Michael Veronese is under the clock is running, but he's actually in reverse gear here. Will they give him a restart? I don't think they will give him a restart, you know, Grant.
See what they do.
Well, no, because he triggered the starting. He triggered
Yes.
the starter, and
He has.
yeah, it's going to be a DNF actually. It's going to be a DNF as opposed to a DNS. So bearing that in mind, I don't think he will.
And what you raised before about the Datsun 120J with I can
160J.
160J, yes.
Yeah.
Timo Salonen and Seppo Hage won in 1980.
Yeah, but so far, yeah.
So
Oh, we
Jody Brensel comes to the line now. Jonty Brensel from Canvasstown in his Toyota Starlet. As we watch Jonty Brensel head up the hill in the Toyota Starlet. And he ran a club Civic club car for a couple of years before getting into the Starlet last year. So Jonty Brensel in the Toyota Starlet. And good morning to you wherever you're watching the live streaming coverage from today.
Right, we have some more comments here from around the world. We have one from Wales, from Butch Thomas from Wales. Good coverage from Wales, he said. We now from Ewan Dixon, watching from Kelso and the Scottish borders, loving the coverage. Ewan, nice to talk to you, man. I know where you come from, a beautiful part of the world there.
As Jonty Brensel goes round in 45.94.
We have a text here from Ossie Viano from, apologise, Ossie if I pronounced your name wrong, greetings from Finland, he says. So hey, it's great to have people from Finland watching here.
And Jonty Brensel stops the clock at 1:13.76.
Gary Boyd.
13.7.
Gary Boyd, thank you, mate. He says that I'm correct with Timo Sallinen won the 1980 Rally New Zealand in a Datsun 160J.
Yep.
And he shared the podium with Walter Roll in the Fiat and the Fiat Abarth, and Hanu Mikela, was third in the Mercedes. So, hey, thanks, Gary. Appreciate that.
So now the Toyota Celica of Dave McMillan from Greymouth. Now here's one for you, Lindsay. The first and only Toyota Celica to win Rally New Zealand.
Carlos Sainz.
No.
No?
1982.
Oh.
Born Waldegaard.
Paul Waldegaard.
Came out here.
Was that in the Celica though?
Yes, in the Celica.
82. I reckon it was the last of the
Just before the Walter Wall won the following year in the Lancia,
and the 83 Lancia.
and the year before Jim Donald won in the Escort.
Yeah,
So
well, but Bjorn Waldegaard, was that at a, no, I don't agree with that. Have you got it there?
Yep, when they came out in the Toyota Celicas. They had two of them. Just trying to think who drove the other one. Anyway, back to the course.
Have you got that on the record?
Yes.
I'm going nuts, I don't agree with that.
So there's the question. Where were you in 82? So here we go. So 50.50 for Dave to the top. And he gets to the finish line in a 1:21.22. Righty-ho. Mazda RX-3, the only Mazda RX-3 engine for Bruce McMillan of Leicester.
Bruce really has a speedway background, having ridden solo bikes for a decade. The unmistakable sound of the RX, the RXs.
With the 12 APB engine, of course, built by Brian McCorn at Rotary Research, has an MX-5 gearbox and a Hilux diff in that car. There's the RX-3.
RX3's made famous in New Zealand by Rod Millen. And Rod, of course, won their first ever national championship in an RX3. And Rod first competed here at an RX3, but at RX7 he was the first person to go under the 1 minute in the RX7. Back in 1988, Grant. When you were still a North Islander then.
Indeed. 49.59 to the top for Bruce McMillan. So, built up 12 years ago, this car, still the same owners.
Sound like your cars, Grant.
Yeah, that's right. One of us done 420,000 Ks yet.
119.63. And your Toyota.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, 420,000 Ks and still going. Not sure I'd say strong, but still going. Got us here today.
Serves purpose, Grant. Had to be a big trip for the car today, wouldn't it, come out here? Right, here's Gordon BB in the 120Y. It's got 323 powered by, and it's got Subaru running gear. So he built the car 10 years ago for classic rally.
And he used to have a Maseru, which was actually a Mazda 323 with Subaru running gear.
He likes
Maseru.
He likes mixing and matching this Gordon, doesn't he?
Sponsored by Vapor Blasting South Canterbury Limited. Gordon Beebe from Timaru, 57 years of age, and heading up to the hairpin.
45.97 to the top.
45.97 to the hairpin. For car 45, Gordon Beebe. And that's a little bit slower. Remember, I think it was 2013, we had it.
Heading on the downhill is Gordon Beebe, and let's just see what he can stop the clock at this time. Last time was a 1:16.99 and a 1:15.50. Just a smidgen in it.
1:15.15. That's a good time for a 120 wide Jasmine. 1:15.
Next we have our Australian visitor, Stuart Reid, from Brisbane in the Mark II Escort. Stuart has been a regular competitor in the Aussie Rally Championship and has been here more recently competing in our championship and also the Otago Classic Rally.
So pretty much after 2008, he gave up rallying in Australia and came across the ditch.
This is the ex-Marion Evans Escort he's driving now, so it's a good car. This it sounds very good. Sounds good the bottom end, doesn't it, Grant?
It does indeed.
Pulled away here.
Yep.
2016, this was his first time to the Winmax.
So he was Queensland's rally champion in 1994, Stuart Reid. Our one and only international competitor here this year.
No, there's 6, 7 others, isn't there?
International.
Yeah, from the North Island.
And you probably all come through the E-gate now, so it doesn't matter, does it?
We're not talking about E things. Apart from this, what we're doing here. Apart from all my smart people around and Chuck here who's running the ship. So to speak.
They are lovely shots, Chucky, thank you. He's controlling the shots.
Wonderful
Chucky.
shots, Chuck. 1:13.56. So that's a 3-second improvement from Stuart Reid. 1:13.56.
So our next competitor started rallying at the age of 17, and then he had a 30-year break until he realised that he shouldn't have stopped. And he's come back.
It's Phil Walker from Christchurch in the Mazda RX-7.
So good on you, Phil. So away goes Phil Walker in the Mazda RX-7, Series 1. So 2016 finished first in the Classic class, third in the Classic class here 2017, and second in the Classic class last year. So no doubt he'd like to be back on the top step again in the Classics. Phil Walker, the RX-7.
$45.83 for Phil Walker at the top. At the top of the mountain.
Now I see he's got sponsored there from Justin Gill Engineering. Justin Gill, a former British.
Yes, of course, Kim Austin, the most famous of the Mazda RX-7 drivers down here. But numerous people have competed here from the day. The Mike Montgomery had the left-hand drive Mazda RX-7. Stuart here had a left-hand drive one as
A
well.
1:13.31 for Phil Walker. And of course we must throw Rob Milne into that mix, Grant, because it was an RX-7 that first broke the minute
Yes,
the record.
So Mazda RX-7 lovers, we've got more coming, because next comes Bert Murray.
And Rob Milne, if you are watching this, it'd be nice to have you back at some stage to have a run. I'm sure you'll enjoy yourself again.
This is the ex-Richard Kelsey factory spec Group B RX-7. So 50-year-old Bert Murray from Waimatty lining up on the Mazda RX-7 Group B. That's a long gear.
A very tall gear, wasn't it? Isn't it?
So, because Bert Murray also, of course, has the Neil Allport Mazda RX-7 as well. So the main freight Mazda, which has been up and down these roads of Ashley Forest numerous times in the hands of Neil
Yeah,
Allport.
it certainly has.
Car 42, Bert Murray heading to the Howler hairpin, and he gets around it in 43.39. So let's see how the two RX-7s do. Filled at a 13.31 is best. Oh, that's a better one.
It's an 11.45.
11.46.
So he's another 2 seconds better than last time.
And the best RX-7 time by almost 2 seconds.
Yeah, it is.
So back comes Daniel Feck
Perfect. Getting pretty back to
and the
MR2.
MR2. So Daniel's been driving at club events since he was 12 years old. Competed in club rallies regularly. So the 2.5 litre V6 turbo, which comes from a Lignum VR4, is in the back of the MR2 for Daniel Feck from Dannyville, the car sharing with his father Robin. So
Yes, that's good. Thank you.
So Daniel Feck in the yellow Toyota MR2 up to the Howler hairpin. And he's stopped.
He's waving.
He's stopped just at the hairpin. He's waving frantically. He's calling a marshal. Doesn't.
Yep. He ain't going any further, that's for sure. He's just reached the hairpin and
Yes, he has got two cars, of course, but not at the end of the competition for this one for the weekend. So, as you can see, just checking something in the back of the MR2. So just while we wait for the recovery vehicles out once again, and it looks like it'll be a trip on the back to the pits for the MR2 Toyota from Danneberg. So, talking about things stopped or stopping, I'd just like to thank Winmax brake pads for their support of the event, our sponsors for the live streaming coverage and also for the event. with Paddon Rally Sport. Of course, Winmax are the leading Japanese brake pad manufacturer. Winmax used in WRC R5 teams. Many of the GT racing teams around the world use Winmax brake pads, and over 30 New Zealand rally competitors now using these brakes to stop. Excellent performance, driver feel, durability and lower wear. Winmax brake pads available from Paddon Rally Sport.
And of course our coverage coming to you from the clever guys from MoMac Socialising Media, headed by Ryan McDonald here, doing a wonderful job and pioneering ground this is.
Indeed it is.
You and I are the exclusions to that though, Grant, I feel. The lads around us doing the pioneering.
Indeed.
All we're doing having a yarn,
Yeah. Indeed.
as we've done for years.
And of course, back in the days, the live television coverage was beamed around New Zealand, but now with live streaming, we don't go just New Zealand. As you can see, we're all over the world. So, you know, callers coming in from Wales and Finland and Argentina. Great to hear everyone
Here's trouble.
tuning in.
Here's the well-known Mark Smith, the famous Mark Smith. No?
Not at all. No. Yeah, good. So, just wait for this car to be cleared from the course, and then we should have our next competitor coming up, which will be the Nissan Primera of Kerr Aikman.
Let's see.
He's on the tow rope. I guess maybe better than being on the truck. So let's hope maybe it is something that can be rectified for them to come back and have another go with this car. But otherwise, as we mentioned, of course, Daniel Feck is one of the drivers, the 4 drivers doing double duties in 2 different classes, along with Sean Haggerty, of course, Sloane Cox and Richard Bateman, all competing in 2 different vehicles here at the Winmax Brake Pads Ashley Forest Rally Sprint, and we are in qualifying round 2. A total of 4 qualifying rounds today, before we go into the final qualifying round tomorrow morning, and then the elimination round starts. So I think we had 64, but we might be up to 66 competitors here, get cut down to 32 after that qualifying round tomorrow morning. So everyone gets a run today for 4 times if the car makes it, and then you're into the elimination rounds on Sunday. So brilliant day here in North Canterbury. Sun is shining, a little bit dusty on the course, but not too bad. We're getting a little bit of a dust cloud into the commentary position. But certainly great weather for the spectators, and nice to see so many families out here enjoying the action at Ashley Forest. And there is plenty of food and refreshments available on site, and you can wander through the pits and see the cars up close, talk to the drivers.
So come on out, folks, if you're living handy to here. Grant, I saw someone wearing a Speed Sport cap before.
There's 1 or 2 floating around.
Aren't they? Yeah. Just reminding those who have been around for a while that my colleague beside me here was the publisher of a very fine publication called Speed Sport for a period of, how long, 10 years?
22.
Oh, just what, 22?
22 years. And of course, Lindsay was one of the first 2 journalists to sign up to the magazine.
And
We had a North Island reporter and a South Island one.
On the last ones too.
First on the boat and the last one off.
Yep. First one.
I went out to the first event with a car boot full of magazines to hand out at Ruapuna.
I'll never forget my kids here at the rally sprint here in about 1990 when we started selling the magazine, no, giving them away as promos at the gate. Yeah.
So So now Daniel Feck or Robin, I'm not sure which one's in the car. The car's being towed now down into the pits, and action will resume again very shortly on this 1.7 kilometre course. It has made up the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint for 32 years.
Is it, yeah.
As Lindsay has alluded to, the first one did not have the downhill part of the course.
It was just a downhill.
Just downhill.
Just downhill, yeah.
So, back in the days when you need more bravery than power.
For sure. Yeah. Although, still a bit of bravery required now to go downhill, isn't there?
Oh yes, indeed.
Yeah, we just see some of those times coming downhill, and that's what is essentially the difference.
So, often been referred to as the best adrenaline rush in New Zealand motorsport for the 30 seconds or whatever it lasts to come on the downhill run. And if anyone's been in a car and come down here at speed, you would concur with that, I'm sure. It's a very exciting piece of road.
If you're in the hot seat, you look at the coastline and think of England or something. Because you can't do much else.
And just while we wait for Kirk to come up to the start line in the Nissan Primera, thanks once again to Paul and Nicola for Wild Trailers for supplying our home for the weekend. A beautifully furbished, brand new horse float trailer from Wild Trailers at 300 Flaxton Road in Rangiora. The most functional, stylish and safe horse float trailers. And if you'd like to give Paul a call, you can call him on 027 263 1227. But you'll find them in Flaxton Road, where you're most welcome to go and have a look at the stock. Or if you're out at the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint, by all means, come and have a look at the Wild trailer on display here that we're using. And if you're wanting to get yourself a new horse float or upgrade yours, you couldn't go any further than look at a Wild trailer. 300 Flaxton Road in Rangiora. So we'll just take a quick break while we wait for Kirk Aikman to join us and the course to get reset here at the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. Right, back into the action now as Kirk Aikman lines up from Te in his Nissan Primera. Kirk is 31 years of age, has competed in Oscar, SS Cup, Classic Racing, 2K Cup, lots of street attacks and hill climbs and sprints. But no Ashley Forest history yet until this weekend, so he's creating history for himself. He's always watched it on television, now he is on the live streaming. Kirk Aikman heads away in the Nissan Primera. And he says his racecraft and mentorship comes from a well-known race legend called Jim Little.
Yeah, very well known in the South Island. Jim Little campaigned in South Island Production Championship and pre-65s. Primarily he's known for with the Chargers and the Valiant.
Up to the hairpin goes Kirk Aikman, and he stops the clock in 53.2 52.31. 52.31 for the split. As the Nissan Primera heads down the hill to the finish line. And he'll stop the clock at
1:23.47.
1:23.47. So he's
3 seconds.
he's improved.
Yep, it's a good improvement. Next is Paul Cox from Rangiora and his MR2 Turbo. Paul has done a fair bit of speedway over the years, done rallycross, and he last competed here in 2017.
So since rebuilding or building this car, he's only done one event, and that has been the Cusk Sprint. Heads away does Paul Cox, supported by Autotech Services Rangiora, Les Summerfield, where of course Paul works, and Top Wire Contracting, Wayne Summerfield. Summerfield brothers proudly supporting Coxie with his Toyota MR2.
Where they talk motorsport all day and compare their efforts. So they're legends in their own lunchtime, believe you me.
And a little bit slow around the hairpin, didn't quite get it hooked around there for Paul. A 47.66. So the MR2, certainly they are becoming a popular choice for a sprint vehicle. I guess well balanced, engine in the rear.
1:17.45, so he's improved by half a second. So Coxie's got we have a reason for that, why it wasn't more than that.
Did look like it bogged down a wee bit at the hairpin.
Yeah. So next we have Jeff Coombe from Amley, well known in these parts. Jeff Coombe, South Island rallying, and the Suzuki, Toyota Suzuki. It's a beautiful little car. This goes extremely well. It's a small car, built by Rally Art for the purposes of NZ Rally and the Toyota class.
Jeff mentions one of his motorsport highlights is coming third in the New Zealand Hare and Hound motorcycle ride, 3 days on motorbikes.
Yeah.
Well, it all goes over a bit quicker here. So, 2 mainland rally wins in the 0 to 1300 class for Jeff Coombe. Suzuki Ignis.
50.39 to the top for Jeff. 50.39.
So 7 years at motocross and 31 years in race and rally for 57-year-old Jeff Coombe.
1:20.2 for Jeff. So he's improved by 2.5 seconds.
Seems to be the sort of average margin of improvement in qualifying too, is around a couple of seconds. As Gary Hawkes comes to the line.
Gary been around quite a while. In fact, he's been around since 1987, competing in 87. Been here several times to the rally sprint. This year he's driving the Baby Blue Escort of Ireland's Frank Kelly. 2.5 litre Escort. As he snakes off the line.
That's got some boogie.
That's got some boogie, all right.
6-speed sequential gearbox in this car.
Yeah.
I think the Corona would know what to do with 6 gears and sequential. Well, the owner might. Anyway, Gary Hawkes from Christchurch, car 37.
It's a good shot there as he comes up the.
It's a great shot.
Up through Notas.
Maybe Frank's sitting on the other side of the wheel there watching his Baby Blue with a tear in the eye.
44.49 to the top. Yeah, I'm sure Frank was watching. 44.49 to the top. As he throws it down the hill.
Down the hill comes Baby Blue.
1:13.04. Yep, 2.5 seconds better than last time at the 1:13.04 for Gary Hawkes.
Keep improving on that one, and she's not all over now, Baby Blue.
No. Very good, Grant. I wouldn't ask you seeing it though.
You know?
Oh, I'm struggling.
George Baker selection.
Oh, good on you.
All right, tint south. We could probably do with a bit of tinting in here. The sun's coming into the wild trailer.
We had the first of our BMWs with Gavin Reid and the 6-cylinder, the 328i.
So I said stock standard, only a manifold change for better torque for this car. As we mentioned earlier, the car was traded outside the Wyndham pub a few years ago for $1,200. Is where it started. So there you go, Chucky in charge. Take your $1,200 down to the pub. You could buy yourself a car and enter next year, mate. What would you pick?
But he wouldn't be in charge then, would he?
thinking?
No, he wouldn't be in charge.
I would go for Scott.
47,
I knew he was going to say Skoda.
47.22 to the top for Gavin Reid.
So, sponsored by Window Tint South, the Craft House Studio, BMW South Recyclers, and Choppers Tyres.
And Gavin breaks the time at 1:16.44. He's improved his time by 3.5 seconds.
Right. So how is the other BMW going to go against that time? Because
the
here comes
talented
Ari Pettigrew.
Yeah, the talented Ari Pettigrew. Ari did a... what was Ari's time last time?
Probably pop up to us in a minute when he gets going.
1:17.35 is what Ari did last time. This boy can pedal a car.
And I can confirm that from being in the inside, having sat
Yeah.
with Ari a couple of years ago at the rally sprint here.
Yeah, it's a shame
And
things
what a
didn't
talent.
turn out for Ari really. What he was trying to do.
Yes, motorsport, as we all know, is one of
Pretty
those
cruel.
sports where, if you just don't have the moolah, it's very, very hard to try and progress.
Well, he was, but he had some instance didn't help, didn't he?
No. Grass karting since the age of 4. I think he still goes out and does the odd grass kart.
47.48.
Lights ablaze.
Ari at the top, so Gavin Reid, yeah, Gavin's got the wood on him at the moment, but we'll see how fast Ari can come down the mountain.
Well, I think last run he picked it up coming down the mountain.
Oh,
so
did he? Hugely, didn't he? Hugely.
The lights are on.
No fear. Young man with no fear. There you go, a 1:14.64.
So there you go.
He's 2.5 seconds improvement too. 1:14.64 for Ari Pettigrew.
That's a
It's not
superb
bad
time.
for,
Good
not
one,
bad for a
Ari.
BMW 318, is it?
Yeah, not bad. The Mazda RX-7 Batman. Joe Quintock. Quintock comes to the line. Of course, competing in the New Zealand Rally Championship in his Skoda. Don't kill Chucky. You want it.
Oh, he found second gear.
She's away now.
He's
Off it
away.
goes.
Yep, he's away now.
So this car's been built by Q Sport as an ongoing build and development program for the last few years. And never competed here at Ashley Forest before. So yet another rookie. So there must be a lot of regular rally competitors, Lindsay, that have never actually competed here at Ashley Forest.
Yeah, a lot. 45.27 is.
And we talked about Ari Pettigrew just before with his grass karting since age 4, and Joe Quintock, of course, has New Zealand and South Island grass kart titles to his name.
One 1:13.16.
1:13.16.
Yep, he is half a second ahead of what he did last time.
So Robert McCallum comes to the line. See if he's in the groove today. So this car's had various engine ranges from 1600 to the Ford Sumi to the FJ20 and now the 2.5 litre Duratec. All built by Peter Kennard, of course, who co-drives in this car with Robert McCallum.
Been around rallying for 30 odd years, so a well-known name in this part of the world. Sounding good.
Yep.
Sounding brilliant, actually.
The Duratec's on fire.
I hope not. Well, in certain places, yes.
Yeah.
I do hope it's on fire. As he throws it up the hill, if he can throw up the hill, but he certainly is sideways to victory, as they say. Oh, just about cooked it. Oh, whacked the bank at the rear.
Nicely
44.77
around the hairpin.
to the top. So down the mountain he comes.
So the best time he's done is a 1:05 here in 2016.
He did a 1:11.38 the first run. So
Yep, fast and spectacular. That is Robert McCallum from Christchurch.
1:10.52. So he's just
10:52.
crept under what he did last time.
And coming now is another one of our double entries. This is Sloane Cox in the front wheel drive Mitsubishi Evo 10. Of course, recently last year competing in rallycross in Finland and Sweden with the RX Academy, and that's the reason he put this car to two-wheel drive.
Academy deal, it was all front-wheel drive cars. Was that what you were saying
Correct.
before?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a junior academy into the.
That'd be quite a challenge to get used to that, wouldn't it? With something as powerful as that, and you know, having been so used to driving with four wheels, although all the modern cars these days are only front-wheel drive. I mean,
They are.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's
Nicely around the
nice
hairpin.
around the hairpin, all right. 43.53 to the hairpin.
So Sloane is still hoping to get back overseas at some stage. It's always the way, isn't it? You get a little bit of international taste of international competition, and yeah,
Pretty hard to give it up.
indeed it is. So through the line he goes.
108.89. So
He's managed to pull it up.
yeah, he just whacked off 5.5 seconds on first time.
That's a great improvement.
That's a lot of time, isn't it?
And
Here we have Chris Hay. Chris Hay from Mosgiel, a regular competitor here, and he holds the two-wheel drive record, outright record. She set 2 years ago. A time of 1:02.15.
And just before Chris, we should have had Robin Feck, who's sharing that MR2, of course, that broke down on the hill, so that car's obviously out. So here comes Chris Hay, car 31.
Chris Hay in the MR2 with more aerofoil, more wings, bits and pieces.
It has a little
He spends all-
sprayers on the back too, doesn't it? Spray onto the.
I don't think Chris sleeps
radiator
at
of the
night.
van.
I think Chris spends all his time thinking about how to improve this car. And he does invariably.
So he's competed in this car for the last 14 years, winning the two-wheel drive class for 11 years, holds the current two-wheel drive record, of course, at 1:02.15.
Started coming to Ashley Forrester, crewing for Barry Robinson when Barry's with the Black Chevette back in the 80s, and has never been away from the place. Unlike Barry, who's also here today.
Someone we hope to be catching up with
40
for a chat at some stage. Barry.
46.4 to the top. Yeah, we have a couple of the old boys. A couple of the old boys here, and Barry Robinson and Dave Ayling, who's come down from the Taranaki to have a look at an event he hasn't been part of for a long time. So we'll have a chat those two.
So
1:05.46 for Curly Hay. That's getting him there the time he wants to be. He'd be pretty happy with that for round 2.
up to the line comes Richard Bateman. Oh, Sean Haggerty.
Sean Haggerty,
Beg your pardon.
another one of our local men. Sean's done pretty well in this event. He's finished in the top 8 in the last 2 years. Started his motorsport career on racing bikes, and then went to rallying, and in particular the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. He did a
So I asked Sean a couple of questions of if you could drive any sort of
I beg your
motorsport
pardon,
car,
it's-
what would it be?
I beg your pardon, this is showing Richard Bateman.
What is Richard?
Yeah, so Sean Haggerty missing. I beg your pardon, it looks, our board is saying it's Richard Bateman, whereas our program is. He did a 40.09 to the top did Richard Bateman, so I apologise for that. But it is indeed Richard Bateman and not Sean Haggerty. And he stopped the clock at a 1:04.37, so he's up 2.5 seconds. So we are in fact missing car 30, who was Sean Haggerty.
Now that was a dual entered one as well. Maybe he's not
Yeah.
doing this class and we'll just do the one run perhaps to see who comes behind. Now James Palmer comes to the line in the Subaru Legacy, liveried out in the old Possum-born Castrol colours of the day. Back in the day when Possum-born and Dr. Roger Freeth did the New Zealand Rally Championship and won in the Subaru Legacy. So, 27-year-old James Palmer, mechanic for Matt Summerfield, dual driving and co-driving with Matt and both his dad's Yellow Start and also lately in the Legacy. This car was purchased by Matt several years ago for $5,000 and has gradually improved on a budget ever since. So James Palmer, sponsored by Matt Summerfield Rally Sport and Autotech Services in Rangiora. James Palmer, 27 from Rangiora, in the 2-litre turbo Subaru Legacy. And he's got to the top in 42.91. And on the downhill comes the Castrol covered Legacy. And it's a 1:08.51.
Not a bad time that. 1:08.51. He's improved by 4 seconds.
Here comes the Celica GT4 of Willie Hawes.
I still don't believe you about Beyond Waldegarde, Grant. So Willie Hawes in the Celica. This is his 5th time here. And he was a regular competitor in the Mainland Championship in 2015 and 2016.
Doing a little bit of further research into Mr. Waldegarde, I can tell you that was the 11th rally that he won in his career, was the Motorguard Rally of New Zealand in
82, yeah.
1982 in
I'm
a
not
Toyota
disputing that.
Celica.
I don't think.
I remember those cars going around Mystery Creek actually. Anyway,
Was you Kankinen with him as well?
yes,
The-
that was
the other
other
one?
car, yes.
And they were Celicas, you reckon?
Yes, they were.
There we go, a 1:09.57 for Willie Hawes. He has only marginally improved his first run.
Yes, in TTE colours, the square boxy one.
Yeah, and that's what he won it. Yeah, but it wasn't. Righto. I'll give up. Dave Ollis, our local man from Waikuku. It's probably closer to here than what Rangiora is. Waikuku, well known for Brian Stokes as well from the rally fraternity. And Dave been around a long time as well, driving the Subaru here, WRX.
Yes. And in fact, he loaned this car to his son-in-law, Garrett Thomas,
Yeah.
to win Catlin's Rally this year.
Because, Dave's, Garrett's car was
North Island.
North Island ready, and he drove Dave's car and won the Captain's Rally, and in doing so won the Mainland Championship.
Dave's best result is finishing second in Hanma Rally in '93. He says he just has a love of building and racing rally cars, and especially loves to see them do well. And
He did a
his car builds certainly have
41.6,
done.
a 41.69 to the top.
41.69.
So Dave Ollis, of course, owns Woodend Automotive, which is in the old BP station at Woodend. So you can pop in and see the crew there at Woodend Automotive.
And a 106.81 for Dave Wallace, so he's up 3 seconds on his first time, just under 3 seconds from his first run.
I have to tell technical Tony he's gone 3 seconds faster with him, not in the car.
Yeah, I know.
So here comes Sam Hurley from Rangiora with the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 5.
Evo 5, is it? Yeah. No, that's a 3. It says 3 here.
Ah, it's got 5.
Yeah, I reckon it's a 3. It looks like,
That
yeah.
is a 3.
Yeah, the 3 is the very first of the, well, the early days of the Evos. Brilliant cars, still good cars. Eh?
Yes.
You could go forever, those cars. So reliable. And they put in times that are so indecently quick for the age of the car.
In fact, I've heard it often said by successful champions who've driven the 3 that particularly suited New Zealand roads because it had slightly narrower wheel track, and
Yeah,
for our crowned roads it was actually
very
a
suitable.
superb car for the job. And
So he did Sam did a 41.77 to the top. I hope we don't have a session. It's all right.
so through the finish line,
107.85. Three and a bit seconds better. Who was that? Nice girl being strapped in. Pushing all right.
on the start line now, here goes Matthew McClinchy, 33-year-old from Christchurch.
Who?
Matthew
Oh, yeah, Matt
McClinchy.
McDonald. Yeah, this. Yeah, sorry, we've had no 24, 23. Yeah, Matt McDonald.
So as Ashley Forest Rally history tells us, made the 32 in 2011, made the top 16 in 2010, but in 2012 he rolled at the Dipper in the top 16 run in a legacy. And he made plays of the week.
43.9 to the hairpin for Matt McDonald in the Impreza.
Another Richard Bateman built car.
There's quite a few around, I think.
Sponsored by Traction Marketing, Motorsport Fabrication Services, Megan Turbo, Crow Sport, and a very understanding wife that pushed me to buy the car after he crashed the last one.
A 1:10.27. He's up by just under 3 seconds as well as Matt McDonald, so be pretty satisfied with that run.
So if the wife pushed him to purchase a new car after you destroyed one, she's a keeper.
Yeah, I'd say she'd keep her all right. Absolutely.
Up to the start line now.
So have we got Mike Bale? No, we haven't. We've got Michael Tom, who's come all the way from Auckland.
And the Evo 3.
And the
so
Evo 3. Mike Tom, as we were talking about before, Mike with the touring car background that we all recognise. From the great days of New Zealand Touring Car Championship.
And he is
Not
struggling.
going to
Stop. He stopped. That's gone red. Maybe it didn't.
Maybe didn't trigger.
Didn't trigger. So
No
false
trigger.
start.
No trigger for that digger.
And of course, as we said, Mike Bultrop's missing from, and should have been before Michael, but obviously
Yeah.
it required more than just the bolts and the spoiler to put it back together.
Mike checked in before to say everything was okay, but not good. So first time it's happened today as a mistake. So Michael Tom from Auckland. It's his third time here. Whilst I've been talking about his touring car exploits, it's his third time here at Ashley Forest, so he knows the procedures pretty well.
Normally this car has, as you mentioned, two drivers, with Sheridan Bell driving as well as Michael Tom, but just Michael doing the duties here this year in car number 21. Coming into the start area now, and looks like the hockey stick's about to go under the wheel, so we might be set to go. Green light on the course. Michael Tom getting set for his second attempt at the hill here at Ashley Forest. So for those watching the live viewing streaming coverage, Mike Tom heads away following the qualifying round 2, a lunch break which they may well shorten, and then 2 further qualifying rounds to come this afternoon. 2 more chances to get your eye in, get your car prepared for the elimination rounds that come up tomorrow. As Michael Tom heads up the course towards the Hella hairpin. "53-year-old Michael Tom, 16 years of touring car racing in New Zealand, and now, oh, beautifully around the hairpin, Michael Tom, and he stopped that at 42.49. And coming down through the finish line now, Michael Tom. And his time?
109.09. So he's gone a second and a bit quicker.
109.09.
Next we have Corey McCaskill from Cromwell in the Impreza. It's his 4th time here at Ashley Forest. His best placing was last year when he got 16th.
Of course, last year, an unfortunate crash. He lost the brakes coming down through the finish line. Took on a hay bale or 2.
Yeah, remember that too, actually. Hey, we've got problems here, Grant. The boss is eating our lunch. What are we going to do about this?
Chucky in charge.
Sucky's in charge. He's in charge of lunches too. How
We might have to take turns at this rate.
we might.
Maybe just talking.
Chucky can take over. Right, round the hairpin he goes, and supported by Southern Lakes
40.
Architectural Coatings.
41.35 for McCaskill to the top.
Also Cromwell Collision Repairs, Jolly's Earthworks in Wanaka, and 5 Stags in Cromwell.
He did a 1:10.06 last time. So 1:10.06 will be his target, and he goes over in a 1:19.09. So there we are, we've got a second improvement there for Corey McCaskill.
Little by little, bit by bit, speeds are coming up. We're into the top 20 cars now.
Grant, I guess part of the reason why they're coming down, apart from the guys getting used to it a bit more, is the fact that it's been swept cleaner now.
True.
Earlier on, you know, the guys on the little cars were effectively road sweepers, weren't they? Jason Clark from Blenheim with the Evo 5 on course at the moment. Jason in the 2-litre turbo Evo 5, which is 4th time here.
So Jason has won the rally class 4-wheel drive class here in the past. Still looking to beat his best time that he put up in 2017. 4th time at this event in a 4-wheel drive car for Jason Clark. So I think last year he double entered as well and ran a Styler. Small capacity car. To the hairpin. Yep.
40.4, chasing a 106.11. And he's gone into a 104.54. So that's a good improvement for Jason Clark as well. These boys will be happy with that, but boys, the competition's pretty fierce here, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
So here comes Garrett Thomas.
Here's Garrett Thomas in the WRX. Garrett, the new Mainland Series champion.
We just had a little whisper in the ear that our executive producer and owner of MoMac, Ryan McDonald's partner, Hannah, is currently sitting in the car with Garrett to have a ride. So, experiencing the thrill of Ashley Forest. For Hannah, sitting beside Garrett Thomas from Kerr. For someone who started rallying 3 years ago,
He goes pretty well, doesn't he?
he has done very well.
3 years ago, he won the Mainland Series this year, and in doing so, won the last round, which was the Captain's Rally down in the deep south.
As you mentioned, second overall in Westland and this year, and second overall in the Hanna Rally last year. So
Yes, he proved to be a very, very quick learner. As he winds up the mountain here.
Well, Garrett finished 4th overall last year.
39.66 to the top.
tidy around the hairpin.
He's chasing a 105.76 was his time from the first round.
So you can see this rally car class being very, very competitive with the likes of Matt Summerfield and Garrett Thomas.
Yeah, it's all on. This is a very, very competitive class, Grant. Here we
Jason
go
Clark's.
now, a 105.59, so he's just under his time from the last round. But boy, they're lining up, aren't they?
Yes.
105.76, 106.11.
And talk about the rally car challenge. Here comes Matt Summerfield in the Subaru Impreza. Three-time Ashley Forest champion.
Now, Matt did a 103.6 last time, so it could be clearly ahead.
And of course he won in this car in 2015 at a time of 103.41. But in fact each time Matt has won here has been driving a different car. In 2014 of course in the V8 Cordia,
Cordia won here, yeah.
then in this particular car, and then 2016 in the Mitsubishi Mirage.
So a pretty impressive record, 3-time winner here. I know he'd dearly love to win the national championship, and he came very close to that 2 years ago when he finished runner-up. And next year he hopes to rectify all that. So Matt to the 39.01 to the top, so he's certainly on course. And he stops the clock at a 1:02.31. So Matt's clipped a second and a half off his best time, and that looks pretty impressive there, as being a couple of seconds quicker than Garrett Thomas. Wow, that's impressive.
An impressive.
An impressive impressor.
As Brendan Hart comes to the line now in a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 3.
The cars they cannot beat to submission, the Evo 3. At least Chuck, stop eating, Grant. We can focus again on what's in front of us. There's Brendan Hart winds his way up the mountain. There he is. He reaches the top and he cuts the clock at 42.01.
He says the car was sponsored by himself and his wife Jackie.
Well done, Brendan. I think you're not the only one who'd be in this situation, actually. Yeah.
Well, that must be another keeper.
Like a lot of motorsport, isn't it? There he goes with a 1:08.28. So he's just slapped 3 seconds off.
Car 15 comes to the line, which is Mark Pedersen from Christchurch. He's done club rallies and gravel sprints, and also did a bit in the 2K Cup as well. And his hobbies when he's away from motorsport are ice hockey and cricket.
Nothing wrong with that either. I say. If my grandson's watching from the States, he'll be most impressed with the ice hockey part of that. It is surprising the number of people I know who do actually watch the overseas ice hockey. Yeah.
So Mark Pedersen in the Subtech Subaru.
Mark chasing a 1:10.55, which puts him in the bracket with Brendan Hart. If he can clip a few more seconds off that, we'll be happy. But wow, the times from Garrett Thomas and Jason Clark just below Matt Summerfield. Pretty hard to peg back, I would think, but we shall see. As he just done a 42.92 to the top.
So Mark says he's been kicking around car clubs for 20 years, mostly in the North Island where he used to live. And his favourite rally, he says, is the Rally of the Far North, which is actually on
this weekend. Isn't it?
So he tossed the coin and bought the car here.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That was timed the same weekend as this, Grant. There we go, a 109.6. So he'd be pretty pleased with that. I think he's taken up a second, roughly a second off his previous time. So Mark Perez, 109.6. Brendan Hart 108.28. They're lining up for podiums here in this class.
This is Nick Clark, 34-year-old from Christchurch.
In the Evo 6. What a beautiful start. Mind you, the car, those cars, they start, those Evos, they're beautiful starters, aren't they?
They are indeed.
Nice distribution of power.
See more well-known motorsport driver figures walking past. Deborah Kibble walking the dog this time, not driving a car. Dog got it. We could have seen him in the car.
Oh,
So Nick Clark
Clark,
to the hairpin.
43.49 to the top, chasing his 1.12. Yeah, I thought it'd be a bit quicker than that actually. He needs to pull a few seconds back here to be in the podium contention.
Previous Raytec overall club champion. So whoa! Bit of a touch with the bank.
Well, he's had a good time, a 1:10.11, but in doing so, he's just spent his prize money.
I think so.
He improved by 2.5 seconds. But in doing so, oh dear. Okay, next up as we have is Nick Clark.
That was Nick Clark.
That was
14.
Nick
So we
Clark.
now have
Luke McKinnon from Ashburton, another Evo 3. Luke's 5th time here, and he's got top 16 finishes for 4 times. Man, that's impressive, isn't it? I love those Evo 3s off the line.
Yep. Competed here for the last 5 years. Finished always in the top 16.
That's a good record to have. So Luke is chasing a 1:11.42 from round 1.
Gets to the hairpin now.
41.46 to the top. It's a good time to the top. It's eclipsed Nick Clark's time. And Nick did a 1:10.11. So he'll be expecting a time of I would say, well, less than we did last time. Here we go. Yes, he certainly has. He's 3 seconds off at 1:08.45. Now that compares pretty well with Nick Clark and at 1:10.11 and Mark Pedersen's 1:09.6.
To the line comes the VR4 with all wheels on this time.
Yeah, indeed. Yes, you're right, Grant. I've forgotten about people like Maury Chandler with the VR4.
Yeah.
You know, he could have been the first one in the VR4.
I think he was.
Yeah.
And then Lewis Scott wasn't far behind.
And Lewis Scott wasn't far behind.
In fact, Stuart Eyre had one as well.
Stuart Eyre, that's right. I recall when Maury Chandler brought it out, us being rather derogatory about the car. That didn't look like a rally car, did it? No. They're a nice car, the VR4. I had one myself for a while, and they are nice cars. But Yeah, they weren't bad cars, really, I suppose. So,
Then of course Ross Dunkerton came over here and showed everyone how to
that's
drive
right,
one in a
'cause
VR4.
Didn't Ross Duncan win an Aussie Championship in a VR4, or was it Gallant? The one before. I think it was the Gallant, yeah. Which is the sixth, yeah.
And then he had a
39.22 to the top for Gareth McLaughlin. So he hasn't got a time. This is his first time of the day is for Gareth McLaughlin. He's done a 104.75. Now that is pretty impressive. He needed to do something like that actually to prove the point. So that puts him in the Matt Summerfield mould. Right, is it Jason McConnell? And the Evo 7, Jason McConnell, who's known for exploits in stock cars over a 12-year period. Third time here at Ashley Forest. Jason did a 109.61 last time.
Just watching Jason McConnell come up to the hella hairpin now.
42.87 to the top.
42.87 to the hairpin.
So he's on the mountain descent now. 109.61. So they're all tightly grouped in the rally class. Oh, he's slower than last time. He's at a 109. Oh yeah, he's just fractionally quicker at a 109.42.
So up to the line comes the number 9. This is Daniel Feck.
Daniel Feck from Danny Verk.
From Danny Berg, Mitsubishi FTO. Got a BR4 running here and there. A V6 turbo engine, 2.5. Phosphate 10-speed gearbox.
So taking the VR4 engine out and putting in this, I think it'd be a somewhat lighter car than the other. I think it was one of the comments about the Gallant. It was a real tractor, very
Oh,
heavy.
big heavy car. Yeah.
But very reliable.
I think Daniel could be good for a top 8 here this weekend at the Winmax brake pad Ashley Forest running front. Yeah, we was top 8 last run, 8th overall in the first run, a 106.24.
So Daniel's chasing a 106.24, which was pretty healthy time. So here we go.
Last run, negotiating through the Helen Road corner. Most form highlights including second in the 2014 two-wheel drive class here at Ashley Forest and
Some comments from out there in public land. I just want to acknowledge my mate Gus McMillan saying hello to Grant and I. Good to see you watching, Gus.
And Mike Smith says best of luck to Trevor Crow and the drivers, supported by my work Magnum Motor Group. And the Magnum Motor Group, of course, helping out our coverage as well.
105.84 for Daniel Fleck, so he's marginally improved his time. Keep on going down.
Was it on that one? So, the Starion V8, at least one of them's not in captivity. talking of Starion V8s, a big shout out to Steve Murphy, who couldn't make it down to the Ashley Forest this weekend, recovering from a health incident. But Steve, we wish you all the best, and I know you'll be chafing at the bit to wish you could be down here.
Yeah, Steve Murphy put a lot into this event, bringing that car down, and he brought it down for a couple of years when I think he would have happily stayed at home, but he brought it down, and we're very grateful for that fact, Steve, and you carved a good record out for yourself, and of course, and other people to drive it. I mean, Hayden won with his car, and so did Matt Summerfield.
That's right.
And yourself. Steve won in the car in 2008 and 2009, and then Matt won in 2014 with it. And Hayden won in 2011. So yeah, this car's got a wonderful record here at Ashley Forest.
And with, of course, Don Hickman and Graham Bajering and Steve Murphy building these V8 Starions, I think Steve was always had a wee bit more. Was always developing, never stopped tinkering, making quicker. First one to come with the fancy wings, and yeah, what a machine. So Graham Bajering crosses the line in the 6-litre V8 Mitsubishi Starion.
A 110.95.
A 110.95.
So yeah, he'd be pleased with it. He's marginally better than he was in round one, which was 111.04. So 110.95 is best at the moment.
So car number 7 coming up now. This is Mike Wellington, of course the ex-Hayden Paddon Evo 8.
And of course, it's also the ex-David Holder car. And both those drivers won the national championship in this car.
Mike Wellington is versed in a lot of motorsport, from karts to Formula Ford, endurance racing, and now race sprint. This is the ex-Hayden Paddon Evo 8.
And Hayden actually had his first outright rally win in this particular car. Of course, David Holder won the New Zealand Rally Championship with this car 2016, and Mike has now owned it for 3 years.
So it's a car with a wonderful pedigree behind it.
And puts up 500 horsepower unrestricted.
Yeah, I can't say unrestricted. I think it started life as a very restricted Group N, Group N car.
It did indeed. So Mike says he's only had one big crash in 22 years of racing Evos, when he flipped at the Waimate Rally Sprint at 170k.
It's a good improvement from Mike Wellington, a 104.25, which is a 2-second improvement on what he did. So 104.25 from Mike Wellington. Their old friend Trevor Crowe, I shouldn't use that word old too well here, but Trevor Crowe has been involved with motorsport for 50 years and was our first South Island victor of this event back in 1985.
Of course, was well known for that V8 powered Toyota Starlet that he had. As you say, he said the car was just too much of a handful to be competitive, and in Trevor's words, he said we didn't change a lot really on the car to bring it from circuit to put it on the gravel here. We swapped out the fuel injection for a 4-barrel carb to make it a bit more drivable, raised the suspension, put smaller flares on. That was about it. Should have made some better underbody protection because the dry sump tank got ruined by my gravel rash. So there we are.
That's all it was. So he did a 1.449 to win in 85. Anyway, Trevor 42.53 is what Trevor's gone to the top in, chasing a 112.27. Wouldn't he love to do a 1.4 again?
Yes.
Should ask him that. Why not doing 1.4s? Trevor, you're only 70-something years of age now.
Yeah, that's right. He says on here he's still young.
Yeah, come on, brighten up.
Yeah.
Brighten your head.
That's right.
108.65. That's good, Trevor. It's a 4-second improvement on round 1. 108.65 for Trevor Crow.
Can you use gold card entry to get a discount into this event?
Oh, what?
Right. Need to talk to Winston about that.
Yes, we do, actually.
Okay, now is this Sean 29 and no, this will be Richard Bateman again. Richard Bateman in the Evo 9, so we've missed Sean Haggerty on 2 runs now, so maybe that car
Something's
is
wrong.
not.
Yeah, so Richard Bateman
well.
chasing a 104.34 from round 1. Richard Bateman, pretty accomplished competitor. This is his ninth time here. Says this car comes from Northern Ireland originally.
And again, a driver who started in a Toyota Starlet many moons ago, he says.
39.41 to the top for Richard Bateman.
So I can see the big guns are out there warming up their cars at the moment.
We go 104.05 for Richard Bateman. He has marginally eclipsed his first round time. So he's shaping up pretty well with Mike Wellington's 104.25.
Pretty quick through the finish line there for Richard Bateman. Might need a new set of Winmax brake pads on that car.
Yes, well, quite a few of them might actually, mightn't
Yeah,
they?
that's right.
Mike Tall in this magnificent Mirage. I think I described it last year, Grant, as the wolf in sheep's clothing, because man, this car can go.
So this car has been under development for a number of years. Had a few mechanical issues. I guess when you're building high-powered, fast cars like this, you do have the odd gremlins creep into them, but so far going well here for Mike Tall. So sponsored by 4-wheel drive upgrades and Submit.
38.15 to the top. He'll go right close to the minute, I suggest, Grant.
Looking fast and tidy on the downhill run for Mike Tall.
Yeah, 101.47 from Mike Tall. 101.47.
Must be an awful lot of drivers that just dream to get under that magic minute.
Oh,
here,
wouldn't you though? Yeah, wouldn't you? We've got Hayden this time. In correct order this time.
You can get up and down this course faster than the 1300 can get up.
Yep, Hayden Patton, winner of Rally Argentina, 7 times on the podium in the World Rally Championship, winner of the Group N Rally Championship, 4-time New Zealand champion, and a past winner here in Ashley Forest.
Certainly
Hold
has
third
some
gear. How much hold third
serious
gear?
boogie, yeah. I'm sure they've got the gearing absolutely spot on for what they want to try and make a record-breaking attempt this weekend.
One that will last for a long time, I suggest.
I would think.
This is what it's all about.
So it'll be totally wound up for the final run, no doubt.
So Hayden did a 58.28 in the round. Is 54.96. That is the magic figure that I guess he and Hayden Padden are chasing. 54.96.
Here comes the Tesla Engineering Evo Special, 27-year-old Sloane Cox. He really does manage to hug that tyre.
35.58 to the top. So he's half a second quicker than what Hayden was to the top.
So this is really going to be a tit-for-tat battle, I feel.
Here we go. 56.59.
Wow.
So he's the quickest in the preliminary rounds. 56.59 for Sloane Cox. So the gauntlet is certainly laid down now, isn't it?
So there we are, 2 qualification rounds of the Winmax brake pads 2019 Ashley Forest Rally Sprint, and it's time for us to take a short break for the lunch break, and then we'll be back with qualifying rounds 3 and 4 on behalf of the MoMac team here at the Winmax Rally Sprint. Wish you a good afternoon, and we'll be back with you shortly.